Alright, welcome to another movie review. I'm Malcolm. This is the Fat Kid.
Back once again.
Indeed. You like our reviews, make sure you subscribe. And if you love this video, be sure to click like. There's no love button, so you can't click that. Yet. This week, we saw Amazing Spider-Man. Now,
A fan review.
This is, by the way, once again, fan request month. This one comes from Damian Martin, who wanted to know what we thought of it. Let's start with you, Fat Kid. You own it, so...
Yes, obviously I like it. You know, of all the Spider-Mans, I really like it because I feel more of a comic book feel on this one than the other one. I hated the other one where they had Spider-Man actually had the webbing coming out of him, like his body created it itself. Alright, when he was Venom, the Venom suit did do that. But him as himself never had that ability. And I love how they went back to the comic book way with that.
I didn't like it. I didn't like it. I can sum up in one thing. I didn't like how they did Peter Parker here. My big issue with him, the Peter Parker that I know, and this is one of those cases where, you know, to introduce it to a new generation, they have to change some things up a little bit. And we've discussed this, and sometimes that's necessary just to introduce it to a new audience. For me, I didn't like this Peter Parker. I thought for two big reasons. One, he's kind of a jerk. I don't know if you can blame that mainly on the fact that most people say, well, he's a teenager. I'm like, oh, that doesn't mean anything. It's Peter Parker. Peter Parker, with the exception of that one thing in the beginning where Uncle Ben dies. Spoilers. That doesn't count. Where Uncle Ben dies, he's pretty much... from then on, he's pretty much the nicest kid in the world. And this one, I didn't like him. And on top of that, he's kind of adult. Mainly, there are quite a few instances where I see him interact with people, and I'm either wondering how the hell did they not put two and two together that he's Spider-Man, and why would he do that? Mainly talking about the camera scene in the sewer for that one, but that's my stance on it.
Like, with his name on the back of the camera?
Yeah. Spoilers.
Anyways. But no, I mean, in the comics, Peter Parker did that to make money.
Yes, but he didn't... Okay, when he's off crusading, he doesn't put his secret...
No,
identity.
he doesn't.
Okay.
But I mean, come on. You know, everybody makes that first mistake.
Yeah, I believe Batman got caught once doing that.
Batman is a spoiled rich kid. He didn't have to worry about money.
Bruce Wayne. Someone find me that comic book.
And yeah, remember, people, Batman is better than Spider-Man. That's why he has a sidekick to help him. And Spider-Man doesn't, because he can do it on his own.
He's pretty much a sidekick, for Christ's sakes.
Oh my god,
yeah.
Spider-Man is so far beyond, like, any, like... not even fun. Not even close, man.
You're seriously going with the Spider-Man is better than Superman, Batman. They did do that one time, by the way.
Yes.
Hey, okay. You're basing this on what? Just the sidekick thing. That's it.
I don't know. It's like, all right, yeah, Batman. He's got all the technology and all that on the side. You know, yeah, he's got more weaponry than, you know, Spider-Man. But spider senses and stuff like that, his added strength, his agility, I think you can take Batman.
Okay. Number one, Batman, now arguably the strongest human being on Earth. But the thing is, the strongest muscle he has is up here. I think you would see something in the measure of, yes, Spider-Man gets the upper hand on him, until Batman retreats, rethinks a strategy, and then ultimately...
Yeah, but as he tries to run back, Spider-Man's like, back over here.
Yeah.
Turns into Scorpion from Mortal Kombat.
Okay, number one, Batman would drop a smoke pellet, so he would not have a clear shot.
I'm a ninja!
He is a ninja! Yeah. And yes, he would own him. He would run him over with a...
What, you mean like he'd buy him?
He could. So I will get
superhero slavery on the next Justice League.
I will get your aunt a new house, and that would be the fight. He's not going to get a new house for his Aunt May on a freelance salary.
No.
But no, he would destroy him. Though it would be a good fight. I would pay comic books to see that one. Just throwing that out there.
No, I would not.
You would not.
No, I've seen the Marvel vs. DC crossovers, and I'm all set with seeing any more.
The Superman versus Spider-Man one, that one was humorous, because that does go on for a full comic book. You're watching these two guys fight. And then, like, at the end of it, Superman realizes, hey, wait, I'm Superman. And he just flexes his biceps as Spider-Man's is punching him, and Spider-Man, like, nearly breaks both of his hands. And then they talk things out, but...
Because, essentially, they're both their human identities, because Superman's secret identity is that he's Superman, not that he's Clark Kent. Clark Kent is his alter ego, whereas Spider-Man is Peter Parker's alter ego, and Peter Parker's his secret identity. So they're basically the same person. They both work for, like, you know, of course, Clark Kent's got a permanent job in the newspaper, and Spider-Man gets freelance stuff in the paper. But I mean, seriously, like, Superman versus Spider-Man, that's a lot different than Batman versus Spider-Man.
Batman versus Batman. Okay. However, he would take him, dude. It's like, number one, popularity alone, Batman would destroy.
Yes, because that's how it works. Popularity.
It is, actually, if you're talking about how they decide who's going to win.
Anyways, we're getting way off track here.
We are. All right, let's talk about the storyline. It's Spider-Man. There you go. However, I will point out that they tend to focus a little bit more on Peter's parents this time around, which was an interesting way to go about it.
Yeah. You know, it added a little different story to element instead of just, here he is at Aunt May and Uncle Ben's. Well, what happened to his parents? You know, it was just always like, he's already here. You don't know anything about his parents. And they kind of added a little backstory to it, which was kind of nice.
Yeah, so the story was alright. My main issue is I just didn't like how Peter comes across. Maybe this is one of those things where over time he becomes that Peter Parker that I liked.
So you're saying you'd rather have like Peter Parker from Spider-Man 3 than this Peter Parker?
Spider-Man 1 and 2, not 3.
Okay.
Let's go through the list. They actually have a pretty star-studded cast here.
One thing I want to say, first off, is the villain in this movie, the Lizard. Now, we all know, like, the Hobgoblin's the first one in the comics to find out Peter Parker's Peter Parker and Spider-Man. And in this movie, the Lizard figures out both. But my favorite thing about having the Lizard in this movie is he's in the other Spider-Man movies. Doc Connor is in them, and they set it up, and I think they should have actually had him as the villain in the third one instead of the Sandman and Venom.
Yeah.
Because it looked like they were building towards that, and it didn't go that way. And I think because they had him already solidified in those other movies, having him as the main villain in this movie really, brought that character what he needed, like, the whole time that they had him in the other movies.
Yeah, personally, and it sounded like you were more okay with Lizard. For me, I wouldn't have gone for Lizard, at least not the first villain of the franchise. I think you want someone a little bit more charismatic to, get the banter going with Spider-Man. I would have recommended, actually, Mysterio. You aware of that one?
Yeah, he's a little short wrestler dude that's Mexican and he wears a mask, right?
Yes and no. Mysterio, that is the one that uses the power of illusions.
Yeah, he has the fishbowl for a head.
Fishbowl head, yes.
He's just waiting for people to remember who Mysterio is. He's an illusionist.
And he made for a really good level boss at Spider-Man 2. You ever see that boss battle?
Yes.
Fun time.
And in one of the comics, actually, Mysterio actually uses his illusions to make Wolverine believe that all the X-Men are all the villains. And it even affects his smell and all his senses. And he kills the X-Men, believing that they're all these villains. And then after he kills them all, Mysterio releases his illusion, and Wolverine realizes that he's killed all the X-Men instead of the actual villains. He's like, why do you think none of them were attacking you? And it drives him insane.
That's pretty cool.
Old Man Wolverine comics. Just letting you know out there, people.
Spoilers. Anyway, going through it now. you heard what I thought about the guy who played Spider-Man or / Peter Parker. By the way, I just want to say I'm getting really sick and tired of the Edward hair on a lot of the male protagonists in these teenage movies. Every time I see it, it just turns me off. But what did you think?
Unlike guys with normal hair that turn him on.
Okay, yeah, you would go there. What was it? Andrew Garfield was his name? Or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked him, I know where you're coming from with how he is in the comics and everything like that, and I understand. But, I've always griped about the comics and everything like that. Looking at it from an acting point of view, he did really good. The emotion and stuff was there. Was it like Peter Parker in the comics? Not really. They used that he was a teenager to their advantage, I think, in this movie with the way he was acting to kind of push it off that this is how Peter Parker would act in this situation. Granted, that's not how he acts in the comics. He's like that in the comics, but then, when Uncle Ben dies, he straight and narrow. He realizes that, it's his duty to, not mess up because his mess up before cost, a great deal. And that didn't happen in this movie. And I think because they changed that fact, I think that's why he doesn't have the personality that he does in the comics.
Now, we go on to his Aunt May, played by Sally Field, and Uncle Ben, played by Martin Sheen. Who I thought both did great performances.
Mr. Estevez.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, I kind of felt that Sally Field was pushed to the side a little bit. She didn't really have a part until a really sizable, impactful part till the very end, and that's being generous and calling it that.
Well, Aunt May is a big deal to Peter Parker, but I think this movie was just trying to push the new character as Peter over it more than anything else.
Yeah. As far as Martin Sheen's performance, I thought he did really well. The only thing that is always going to bug me about his performance, yet once again, a lot of little things are deterring me.
He didn't say his famous lines?
Why? Why would he not say it? It was Marlo's no, because it's sorry, if we don't have the film rights, he can't say that. I'm trying to figure, why would you change it? It comes off so awkward.
Yep.
I didn't like it. No.
I don't know if anybody's ever noticed that he doesn't say that.
It's been pointed out. It's not just me.
No, I'm not saying nobody has. I know there's probably people out there that are oh my god, I didn't even notice that. But as soon as you're yeah, there's one thing I didn't I know exactly where he's going.
He never says with great power comes great responsibility. And it just... Oh, and the way he dies, he brought that on himself too, which I didn't like.
Right?
What was that?
It's seriously. Oh crap. I got it. Oh no.
Yeah, if you ever want to survive, folks, in that kind of situation, just do the opposite of what Uncle Ben...
Just pretend it's a bull and you're a Matterhorn, and you're just ole, let it go.
Yes.
Go on by.
Let it go. Emma Stone as Gwen Stacy, which I do like that they introduced that character.
Yes, going back before Mary Jane.
And I thought Emma Stone did a great job.
Yes.
Her relationship with Peter Parker...
It kind of rotated really fast. It got up there. But I think, because the character, she's on par with the intelligence of Peter, and I think that's what she was drawn to more than anything. Because as it shows that he was smarter than she believed, the more she realized how smart he was, the more she wanted him.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of helped with it, but it still felt like it was rushed.
Mm-hmm. And I also thought that Peter Parker came on a little too strong in this one, especially when he's webbing her and okay.
He only webbed her once, dude. It's not like he come over here, But no, definitely. I mean, it's he was way too easily hey, I'm Spider-Man.
Yeah. Did you want to talk about Dennis Leary's role as a police officer?
Here's the funny thing I like about Dennis Leary. He could play William Dafoe's brother. And and that's funny. When I first saw this movie, I saw Dennis Leary. I'm wow, can you imagine if they actually had William Dafoe back as the Green Goblin in this movie? And you got Dennis Leary and William Dafoe in the same room. It's just Those two characters right there would be just a great movie.
Yeah, let's talk. Now, this film, I do also like how they leave a lot of loose ends, which sets up wonderfully for the 4 sequels that they've been approved for. Like, for instance, I know I realized it the first time, but I just remembered he never finds that guy who took out Uncle Ben.
Nope.
Never finds him, and...
so no more minute rice.
Yes.
Poor Uncle Ben.
Oh, and it's good rice,
and,
too.
Also, the lizard gets cured by the cloud, and...
Spoilers.
Well, yeah. But, I mean, this movie's been out forever, so come on, people. Move along here.
Move on, yeah.
If you're watching this to see if you want to watch the movie by now, if you don't have $1.25 to get it from Redbox, it's on, like, TV, it's on YouTube, it's everywhere. Peter has the container that he was going to use to infect everybody, but then he runs to go check on the police chief, and he doesn't have it no more. So he drops it in the midst of going to check on him. So therefore the lizard could still pick it up, get it back, and then still become the lizard again.
Yeah. Oh, and we see like a silhouette with glasses of Norman Osborn, but we don't see him, but we know he's dying, so curious to see.
We're all dying.
Every day. But I'm curious to see where that leads. So what did you think of the special effects here?
They're great. The CG stands out a lot in this movie, like the color contrast differences. Mm-hmm. So it's definitely easy to like see the difference.
Yeah, with the special effects, this is where I'll give it the nod over the previous Spider-Mans that I saw. I really love how they did webbing.
Oh yeah.
The webbing looks great.
If you guys get motion sickness by watching movies, you might get motion sickness from watching this movie. Just a heads up if you have not seen it already.
Yeah, the webbing is fantastic. The whole special effects is. The only thing that sort of deters me, and I'll tell you to skip the next 2 seconds from the end of this sentence if you don't want it to be ruined for you, but I noticed when he shoots his webbing that a red light turns on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just makes it seem more like a toy to me, but then again, that's minor to me.
Well, no, it's just letting you know it's coming from the device still. Yeah. It's because they put it a lot into making sure you knew that there was a device, so they kind of wanted to keep the idea that, look, it's still a mechanical device doing it.
Mm. But anyway, yeah, that everything looked good there. What the heck was that?
Spirits of Spider-Man past coming back to haunt us.
He's not liking my movie review, I'll tell you that. But the special effects were great. The fight scenes, I thought, were really good too.
Yes, and you know it was great that they didn't have like Spider-Man try to take the lizard on head on. Like, I'm Spider-Man, I'm gonna kick your butt. He knew that he was outmatched, and he used the environment to like get an upper hand. And even though using the environment, the lizard, because he's so big and powerful, was able. You know, they used that he was so strong that Spider-Man's like attacks weren't as effective as he hoped. You know, it's one thing I loved always about Marvel characters over DC. The heroes and the villains are either on par, or the villains are a little bit better than the heroes. Where on the DC side, a lot of the heroes, like their arch enemies, are like so beneath them. It's ridiculous. That's why I love Batman so much on the DC side, because Batman, Green Lantern, you know, there's a few that have the villain that's up to par, but like Superman, who's your arch enemy, Superman? Gotta tell you, Lex Luthor. That human has a brain. I could squash him like a bug, but you know what? He's just so smart. You
don't like regular human heroes, do you?
He's a villain.
Or characters. You don't like Batman because he's human. Now you're attacking.
No, I didn't say I don't like Batman because he's human.
You heard it here.
I said I like Batman.
Okay.
Because him and the villains he faces are on par with each other. But like Superman, you know. Oh, all right. Well, we need to make something as cool as Superman. Well, how can we do that? Let's make an alternate Superman. Call him Bizarro. Really? That's your cure for like making it equal? Seriously? Let's just copy the guy? Great idea, DC. That's why you don't see Superman as your flagship character anymore. It's Batman. And you never see Superman climb to those ranks. You know why? Because he is like, I am super. But my villains are not that great.
The funny thing is, I thought I would be the one doing the angry review here, but no, apparently not.
Well, no, I don't. I'm a Momo fan. I'm gonna say it. You know, everybody knows it.
Damn human characters ruining my comic books.
It's not human character. It's where the heroes are like so much better and powerfuler than the villains, but yet they let the villains like over exceed the person because of I'm so good at he's gonna kill millions. I can't really hurt him. But if it's a movie, I can destroy buildings, I can break some dude's neck, and all this other stuff. But in the comics, I can't hurt a human that's killing people and doing all this bad stuff.
Well, yeah, well, keep in mind, the movie took a liberties, which we've discussed.
Yeah, the Liberty Bell cracked and it broke in half with the liberties they took on that movie. And it's funny, I like anime, and I like Dragon Ball Z, and there's a funny clip that I love on it, on Facebook. They have Goku sitting there, and if you don't know who this is, I apologize that you've never seen it, but you should check it out. And try to get the Kai series where they cut out a lot of the filler because you need to get rid of that filler.
Yeah.
It's got a picture of Goku and it says, moves the fight to a location unpopulated to protect humans or citizens. And then it's got a picture of Superman underneath it. He kills a guy who's about ready to kill 4 people after destroying a building, killing countless of thousands of people already in it.
Oh, my favorite one, picking on the Superman, is where it's like this Facebook picture where it's like they make it look like Superman's talking to Tony Stark. In the first panel, he's like, "Really? It took 6 of you to stop an alien invasion? Yeah, I did it by myself. How much of the city got destroyed?" And the next part, Tony's like, "Well, actually, we set up a perimeter to keep damage to a minimum and save people and allow them to escape. Because saving lives and keeping property damage to a minimum is important too." How did your city do?
All right, now back to Spider-Man.
Let's get back here.
It's the comic books. I tell you, you get on the comic books, you start like straying. You have to. It spreads too easily.
We're gonna get so many comments from people calling us comic book nerds.
Whatever,
just like Man of Steel all over again.
But people who go, "You're comic book nerds, you never are happy." Da 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 da. Well, I'm sorry, I read a comic. I'm sorry, I read something. My bad.
Yeah, I apologize.
Heaven forbid you didn't read it. I'm sorry, but there are making movies where they take the comics and they turn it into a movie, so that way you people too can also, see what we're talking about as you watch the comics.
And plus, Uncle Ben only has to do one thing, and that's say one stupid line, and he couldn't even do that. But anyway, I also want to give credit to Andrew Garfield on one last thing. Whenever he has the mask on, he really is Spider-Man. Like that scene in the car, that's awesome. Unfortunately, and I'll blame the director, not Garfield, for this. This is one of those movies where they want to take the mask off as much as possible, which I understand why, but looking at films like Iron Man or Dredd, that's an excellent one.
The new Dredd, not the old Dredd.
Yes.
Because the old Dredd was retarded. When they took Stallone's, I understand Stallone's Dredd. We all know it's Stallone. We know what he looks like. We've seen the Rocky movies. Yet he has to be shown in, alright, we paid Stallone a lot of money. We need to show it's Stallone. So here he comes out full Dredd gear. You're like, oh my god, there's Dredd. And then he takes it off, and you never see him wear any of it ever again.
Yeah. Carl Urban, though, he is a freaking master. He only signed the line he only signed to do the film if they promise that he has to keep the mask on at all times. But anyway, let's go down. But unfortunately, they take the mask off a lot. And if you look at stuff like Iron Man and Dredd, they know the importance because the mask is part of the identity. But
I'm pretty sure you can't use Iron Man in that situation.
I can.
I'm Iron Man.
Yes.
This is my address.
Okay.
I'll leave my door unlocked.
Okay, number 1, that is part of the character, so it's okay. And 2, I see him in the mask quite a bit.
That's because it's protection.
Yeah, but it's still on.
True, but I'm pretty sure an iron mask over your face is a lot more protection than spandex.
So why does he even put it on? Tell me that. What? Just do like the friggin' Robin thing there, if he's going to be such a pansy about it.
Alright, you complain about Superman putting glasses on and nobody knows who he is, but you said he can put a blindfold on and that'd be okay.
Weren't you listening to my part? Apparently, he can throw a football and dent a freaking goalpost in front of the whole school, but no one puts two and two together there that, hey...
Dude, Superman shoots webbing, not footballs.
Yeah, he's
Joe Montana's kid. Come on, get over it.
Yeah, okay. Alright, so ratings, as far as I go, in summary of both of us, I think I could say this is one you should see just to make your own decision. Because we're heavily split. He's a thumbs up.
I'm heavily anyways.
And, if this, like I said, if this leads to movie by movie, he becomes a better person or better
It makes it he's a better person. Like right now, maybe if he does some charity work in the next movie, maybe I'll like him.
He treats his Aunt May like shit, dude. Come on. I love how they never explain that. It's like she just has to accept that. I would love to see the movie from Aunt May's perspective.
You wouldn't see a whole lot of the movie then.
Yeah, just to know what she's thinking that he's doing, because he just comes back and he looks like...
He doesn't want her to worry, and he doesn't know how to handle telling her, because he doesn't want her to worry, because she's been through a lot.
So you think she knows he's Spider-Man?
Oh yeah, she knows.
Okay, because that's, once again,
at the end where he gives her the eggs, she knows. And the way the movie shows it, you could tell that she knows who he's Spider-Man.
The hell I could tell.
Well,
yeah, I just think...
I could tell that they were letting you know that she knows that he's Spider-Man at that point.
Okay, well, we'll see. They never give any clarification that she knows.
If you watched the movie and you were inspired by the movie, you will too see that.
Lucas Fox in the freaking Dark Knight, he gives inclination that, okay, he knows. Not on May. On May just thinks he's a dumb teenager, which he is. But... our recommendation is not, I would say, not good. Definitely go, well...
You can't go see it in the movie theaters now.
Yeah, you can't go rent it. Rent it, that's the safest bet. If you like it, be like Fat Kid here and buy it. I'm not a fan, though. Alright, so next...
I liked it. And I own it, and I'll watch it again and again. So I say, rent it. And then, what if you decide that you like it or not, then, buy it.
Alright. Now, next week for Fan Appreciation Week or Fan Request Week, we're going to see one called Alpha Dogs.
Again, just like the movie Pain and Gain, it's a movie that's based on a true story.
Oh.
But unlike that, it's not a comedy, but again, it's going to have somewhat of... to me, I've seen it a few times. Not my top picks of movies. A lot of people they're like, oh my god, it's one of the best movies ever. I'm like, oh my god, I don't know how you think that.
Thanks to Super Majin Vegeta, or well, can we say his name or
no?
Okay, Super Majin Vegeta, good job. We will review that movie next week, and we will see you guys next week. Once again, subscribe, like the video, and we will see you next week.
Same web time, same web channel.